Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ahlan wa sahlan. Jazakallahu khair to everybody who will be tuning in. Please do not mind my camera not being on. The reasons are many, amongst one of uh, which is, I don't want to say it, but I will just say it. I feel that I'm looking blah today. So am I that conscious about my how I look sometimes? Okay. So Jazakallahu khair. Today there was this very interesting book that I was reading, and I thought that inshallah ta'ala we should definitely, as a homeschooling mom, specifically as a homeschooling mother and as a teacher by profession, I have struggled understanding how to make learning better for myself. So I will give you this example. I recently joined a Talimul Quran course, right? And when I joined the Talimul Quran course, what happened was I did homework. And this was my problem when I was a child in school. And this was a problem still up until today. Up until today. And you know what I did? I did the first part of the homework right, and by the fourth and the fifth question, I totally changed the format of it. And then I'm looking at my paper, and I did not understand that if there was anything wrong with it. Now I am, mashallah, going to be a 41-year-old grown woman who has three children who are all teenagers, who is a researcher by her profession. I'm a coach, everything. But even today, when I'm given to do a homework, I cannot actually yani see what is wrong with the work that I'm doing. And then I remember my teacher saying famously, "Oh, Iram is a very good student. She's very attentive in class, but you know what? She's very careless." And I never understood, why do my teachers call me careless? And when I see my paper, even and yesterday this really hit me hard, that I'm doing a homework. I started with the correct format of the homework. By the fourth question, why did I change the whole format of the homework? What happened to me? So if you're somebody like this who struggles with tests, or if you know your children who struggle with tests, or who struggle with doing the homework, or who struggle with following the instructions, or who are in so much rush, yeah, by nature they really get overwhelmed in performing a certain task when it comes to studies, then this is definitely a life that is for you, inshallah ta'ala. So one of the key ideas of learning is that active learning is that it engages the students, right? It frequently involves some sort of practice where the teacher asks them a question, they are engaged in it. But from a neuroscientific perspective, active learning supports the creation and consolidation of links, and that is why. So when we were young, we had a lot of rote memorization. English, whether it was English, whether it was science, whether it was social studies, whether it was any subject, we had a lot of rote memorization. And this is me in Abu Dhabi, UAE, right? And even in the Pakistani board system, or even in the CBSE system, which is the Indian board system, I think we had a lot of memorization. Now what I see in schools, and what I why a lot of people get distracted, or a lot of students get overwhelmed, is they don't teach rote memorization for at least up until sixth grade or seventh grade. And then suddenly they expect the students to have these memorization skills that were never tapped into when those children were young. So now we have two extremes. First, when we were growing up, there was a lot of rote memorization, and we were not given this scope to have critical thinking. And now the critical thinking part has overtaken, and they're not given rote memorization part, which is doing a disservice to our children. It is doing a disservice to our children. It is because rote memorization, or learning, or active learning, supports the creation of neural links in long term memory that underlie both a rudimentary and higher order conceptual. So the declarative learning pathway sends information from working memory to both the hippocampus and the neurocortex, yani where the information is being sorted and being kept in the long term memory. So one of the things is that you need to understand that there is nothing wrong with memorization. And yes, memorization does feel as if it is a lot of pressure, but it is not that bad. It is helping the brain develop a muscle. It is just like a brain activity, a brain exercise. One of the other things that we need to understand is Sleep has a lot. Sleep and food, of course, the kinds of food, and we've discussed so much, so I'm not going to even delve into it. That how much food is necessary, and how the food is going to help the student, and how what kinds of food, and blah 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 blah. That's not the part of this. So number two is procrastination. A lot of our students, or a lot of us, procrastinate. We are like, the test is happening. Yes, it is in the next week. Okay, so let's study. I will study in the last minute. I will study then. I will study then. And I remember this from my own practice. There was once one day, my mother hardly used to. My mother hardly used to look, and it is in this book. It is in this book, Uncommon Sense Teaching. It has all. This book was not just written by educationists. It was written by neuroscientists and cognitive scientists, and they have given this research. We have so much research about how to learn, but it is not still yet implemented in our systems, and that is why our children feel overwhelmed, our parents feel overwhelmed and anxious and scared that, oh my god, what is happening to my child, why are they not learning? Khair, coming back to my story, I remember that. So I was this lazy, procrastinated student, always, because tests did not interest me, and I had no ambition to get full marks. I don't know why. After some time, I just, when a person has a certain disability, and they try hard, and sometimes by luck and by chance and their hard work, they do get the results that they're aiming for. But majority of the time they don't. And when they don't, then if you're young, then you say, might as well just forget about it. What's the point, right? And so that was the kind of student I was. So I had a board exam, and it was for Islamic studies. And my mom asked me, I don't know why that day she asked me, but she said, Iram, come, I'll listen to you. What did you learn? I said, okay, fine. Now, in my head, because it's Islamic studies and it is an Urdu language and it is just Islam, so I thought I know everything. And when she started asking me questions, I forgot the dates, I forgot the names, I did not know the exact order of the events that had happened in. And I was like stumped. I was stumped, like I thought I read it. But that is the trap of a procrastinated student, right? So what is happening? So when the students just think about something they don't like or don't want to do, feelings of discomfort and pain, listen to this, parents, feelings of discomfort and pain pop up from the insular cortex, a pain processing center of the brain. So, and this is for parents also, this is for us also, people, we are coaches, right? And so we have our inner tribe, and we always come across this question, but I'm not motivated enough. But I'm not motivated enough. Why am I not motivated enough? One of the reasons that we're not motivated enough is because we are fearing something that we know that we have to do, but we don't want to do. And this is a scientific answer to your why. If somebody is making notes, please remember this, that you procrastinate, or I procrastinate, or our children procrastinate during their learning years, or we procrastinate to achieve our goals because we are scared of it. It is something that we are disliking. It is something we are dreading. And whenever we think of it, our brain signals to us as if we are in pain. That part of the brain um, signals it, right? And so what happens is we say, okay, you know what? Let's just sleep a little more. Let's just watch this a little more. Let's just say, I will do it, I will do it, I'll come back to it, right? And so the last minute glance, so these kinds of people who do it at the last minute are called race car students. This is the name that they're given, race car. My daughter is dyslexic, and it's really complication the whole learning process for her. Procrastination usually reflects, yes, definitely. So the thing is, the last minute glance students, I will just look at it and I will remember it. Although now we know scientifically, the last, why do they say that whatever you have read, the material before your exam or your test, after that stop it, just rest your brain. Because if before going into the class or before going into the exam center, you're just saying, oh, let me have one look, let me have one look, let me have one look, that thing is not going to stick with you anyways. It's a miracle if something sticks with you. Usually you forget, you say, oh, I know I read it, I know I read it, what was it, but you don't remember it, right? And they're called race car students. So what happens to them is they face a vicious downturn in their grades as they begin to experience tougher material. The transition from middle to high school or from high school to college can particularly be difficult because these students simply haven't learned how to study in a way that keeps the pace of the class. Then there are called hiker students. So one type is called the race car students, last minute, and the other type is called the hiker students. What do the hiker students do? The hiker students with their less capacity of working memory can still handedly outform the race car students. They achieve this feat by creating lots of well practiced, broad ranging set of links in their long term memory. So, so this is what is the example? So the example that they gave is, like, for example, you try this with yourself or with your teaching your students how to tackle procrastination using the Pomodoro technique. Now, I have discussed this Pomodoro technique in our inner tribe, and it was like, put away all of your distractions, especially your smartphone and notifications, like switch off the phone, set a timer for 25 minutes, and focus as intensely as possible on the task during those 25 minutes. You will say to yourself, only 25 minutes. I'm not going to die. I swear you're not going to die. Just 25 minutes. Relax mentally for 5 minutes and then repeat what is needed. You can always take a break, move around, and come back. Like, you have to give yourself pockets of time. So, one of the exercises that you can help yourself and help your children to sit and do is that, right? The next what you can do is the hard start approach to test taking. So when tests are so difficult for us, sorry, let me continue with the procrastination. Now, how many of you are good at creating lists? We all create lists, right? My sister used to joke. She says, ask me to make a timetable and a schedule, and I will do the best job. But ask me if I've actually followed through it. I've done nothing, absolutely nothing. I waste the whole day just making the schedule, making the timetable, but I actually did not follow through. So that's another trap, because we're dreading to actually do the work. That's something that we're dreading to do. So number one, the teachers say that create, or these scientists say that number one is to create to-do list with the students. Crossing off tasks as they are completed will give students a sense of pride and accomplishment. Some students will also need assistance prioritizing and creating a schedule, because yes, the thing is, like, for example, as working moms or as homemaking moms, one of the things that the burnout that the moms have is like, I start one thing and then I get distracted, and I start another thing and then I get distracted, and I start a third thing and I get distracted, and then nothing is done. But is that true? Is absolutely nothing done? No, actually you have done something, but in parts and portions. But so one of the things that we need to train our brain to do is to prioritize. Like, for example, is laundry the most important, or is cooking the most important? If cooking is the most important, what time is cooking? How much time is cooking going to take? Well, I can switch on the laundry and I can start cooking, and in the middle, when everything is, when the cooking is not completely done, but in the middle, when I can get a break from the cooking, I can go back to the laundry, just put the clothes in the dryer or hang the clothes out. Or I can start by cleaning this one room only. Today, I'm not just going to clean the whole entire house. I'll just start cleaning this one cupboard. The thing about cleaning and sorting is we get so nostalgic about things that we lose time. So prioritize which time is which task is going to take your most time, and then where do you want to place it. Another thing that the scientists or the educationists or the brain people talk about is know the energy levels. If you are already tired, then don't take up a task that will require your mental energy. You're already drained out, right? But if you are in a fresh start mode, then try out the most heavy task first. Yani mentally heavy task first, not the physical heavy task first. So if you are a writer, or if you're somebody who has to study for a test, or if you're somebody who has to do a homework, or if you're somebody who has to write down a paper, or etc etc, or any other thing, then start with that work first, because the physical work that you need to do, you can do it in smaller portions and you can delay that as well. The point number two is help your students sort through their chaos. It's hard for them to be productive when their lives are spilling all over the hallway. Now, exactly, if somebody is going through distress in their home, if somebody is going through bad company and bad influence, if somebody is has started to take drugs, if somebody is exploring into social media and is infatuated by by the celebrities of social media, or is addicted to something, then studies does not come first. And usually what do parents say? Why are you always on the phone? Why are you always doing this? You should be studying. And this is, and I really empathize and sympathize with myself and with anybody else. If I was able to focus, I would have been focusing. It's not that I love it that I'm being yelled at. I hate it when I'm being yelled at. I hate it when I'm being told that, oh, you were supposed to do this. Why aren't you doing this? There's so much of shame. There's so much of anger involved in it. There's so much of helplessness involved in it. Why can't I do this? I see women struggle day in, day out with this question. Why am I not able to do this? I understand this is important for me. I understand how the quality of life will get better. I understand yani, this will make things easier for me, but still, why can't I do this? You can't do this because your life is chaotic. And that is one question people don't want to address, that our life is chaotic. We have created emotional chaos. It's not necessary that something physical is happening to us. The emotional chaos is enough to create this shutdown when it comes to studying, or it comes to anything that we want to accomplish. So even when students do their work, they may not be able to turn in because they can't find it. Organization is a key to student success. A task that can ordinarily take only 10 minutes to complete may take students more than an hour if they need to scramble through a messy locker notebook or a desktop. Number three is hold students accountable. If you don't regularly check assignments, students will not do them. At the beginning of the class, have students show and discuss their assignment with a partner or small group. As parents, I know this for a fact because I did this with my own children. When I gave them to other people to learn and to study, I was like, oh, thank goodness, I don't have to check with them anymore. And when I did not check with them anymore, they also stopped caring. As a parent, no matter you understand the subject or you don't understand the subject, show the children that you care what they are doing. Show them. For example, my daughters, when they have a test, they always come to me and they say, oh, I scored this and I scored this, and I said, tell Baba also. And they're like, no, it's okay, Baba is fine. Baba doesn't care anyways. He's never asked us what you're doing. I said that he never asked us because he thought that you people are doing well, because I tell him that you people are doing well, but you need to tell him too. You need to tell him too. And then I asked the father too. I said, like, take interest, ask some questions. Yani, they feel that you don't care, that's why you don't follow up. So another thing that is accountability. As a coach, I know this, that when I do one-on-one coaching, and when any of the coaches here at Parenting with Allah by my side, with the Parenting Tribe, do coaching, one of the key factors is to um, keep up with the client. And usually clients feel shame because they're not doing the homework that they're supposed to do, so they keep quiet. They say, no, I did not do it, no, I did not do it, no. But that's not the point, whether they did it or did not do it. The thing is, somebody cares enough, and this has a very good positive effect on people, especially on children. Especially on children. The ideas to keep you from procrastinating. How do you um, how do you not procrastinate? Again, adopt the ideas that were just given, and try to keep yourself accountable. Acha, another technique for testing, like people, when children are scared of tests, right? So the hard start technique for tests involves starting with the hard questions first, then pulling away and working on the easier material as soon as the stuck feeling arises. The diffuse mode can then go to work in the background to enable students to make progress later when they turn to the tricky problems. It's essential to nudge the students away from procrastination, and these are the three steps: create a to do list, clean up the chaotic environment, and increase accountability. These are the three things that you need to do to stop a student from procrastinating, or stop ourselves from procrastinating to achieve the goals that we need to do. Again, the testing thing was just a sprinkle in the ad mix, that look at the questions. If the hardest question, look at that, are you able to solve it? If yes, then good, because the big chunk of the worry will be done with it. But if you're not able to do it, then scan through the easier ones, do the easier ones, and then come back to the hard one that's going to require your time. We were taught this, at least in our school, right? So these were a few things. Now looking into what else can be done. So far so good. Anybody need to ask any question? Anybody need to ask anything? Okay. What are the I would like this conversation because I'm not on the screen, so I feel odd too. But I would like to ask you, what are the the procrastination steps? Can you repeat them, please? Yes, definitely I can repeat them. Number one is that have a to-do list, right? Have a to-do list. Number two, be observant of the chaotic environment. If you are mentally stressed, if you're emotionally stressed, if the child is emotionally stressed, if the home environment is chaotic, they will not be able to do the tasks that they're supposed to do, whether it's in school or whether it is at home or whether you yourself. And the third one is have an accountability partner. Children have it easy because their parents can keep them accountable, teachers can keep them accountable. Did you do this? And some, usually parents complain and mothers complain, I why do I have to keep reminding them? Why do I have to keep reminding them? Well, I'll tell you this, we have to keep reminding somebody because that is the accountability method. I do not understand, I have never understood this. When was the last time we did something that we hated to do, not something that we like to do? If you like to do something, you will get up 2 a.m. in the morning because you like to do something, right? You're looking forward to it, it excites you. But when it's about homework or it's about home chores or it's about something that you are disliking to do, where your brain is already giving you the signal that it is painful for you, when do you actually say, oh, yay, I'm so looking forward to it, let's do it? You never do that. Then why do you expect the little children, our young, sweet, innocent children who are even 15, 16, 17, 18? That is no age. That is like baby age. I mean, no, they are adults. But I mean to say is like, what have they seen of this world that we are expecting to them that you should know by yourself? You should know by yourself. Why should they know by themselves? And even if they know by themselves, we know from brain science studies now, we know that an 18-year-old's brain is as vulnerable as a 2-year-old child's brain when it comes to cognitive processing of emotions. They get scared, they get worried, they have anxiety. And right now, after pandemic, the worst anxious conditions is with our youth. They are suffering extremely, and we know all these facts, and still we ask them, and still we tell them, and still we blame them and say, why didn't you not do it by yourself? Salah. Now I know this, that I've taught my children from the very beginning, salah is important. But ask me, if my children, if there goes a salah that I don't tell them, like, oh Shab, it's salah time, go pray. There's not a single day that has gone by where I have not told them, and they, and I saw them praying by themselves. Maybe they do pray by themselves, but it is my job to stay accountable for that. It is my job to stay accountable for that. It is not taking away anything from me. So why do we fess up when we have to stay accountable? That is that is one job as a parent. That is one job. Okay, halas. Then comes what else? What else would I like to see? What happens when students don't meet expectations or follow procedures, right? When, so we're going to talk about proactive measures to prevent student resistance. We know this that students do prevent resistance. I have this parent in one of the my courses, and she says that my girl, she hates the subject. She hates the go sitting in that class. She hates the teacher. When she comes home, it is such a miserable time making her do the homework. The teacher does not understand that my girl is not getting the subject. She is like, sure, she should perform well, blah, blah, blah. She keeps failing the child in the test. My child is not even dyslexic. It's not about dyslexia. It's that my child just outwardly says, I hate this subject. I'm not going to do it. I don't like the teacher as well. Now, one of the things that the teacher was supposed to do was the teacher is supposed to create a sense of security for that child. Again, everything is does my we say we love children, but where do we show love to our children? We say we want to teach our children, but how do we teach our children? We say we want to give children better examples of us as adults, but how are we giving those examples when we are continuously demanding of them? I'm not saying don't demand. I do demand of my children to do good because I've taught them to do good, and it frustrates me when they don't do good. But then there is a methodology to keep them accountable. Okay, coming back to, so, proactive measures to prevent student resistance. Number one is to provide specific praise to the individual student groups or the whole class as warranted. When you sprinkle a specific praiseworthy feedback, you build trust and rapport, and the students are more open to learning from their mistakes. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. Number two is reassure students, even when their responses are incorrect, to help establish trust and encourage students' future participation. I've given this example many, many times, and I will still say this. Like, for example, when my daughter, after 2 years of taking break from mathematics, being in eighth grade, she did her fifth grade math, sixth grade math in 1 year, and she passed, and she took a C plus. I was ecstatic. I was like, mashaAllah, tabarakallah, this is awesome. You really tried hard. I know you struggled. But she said, Mama, no, I understand the concepts now. It's better for me now. Alhamdulillah. I was looking at her math work. I have access to looking at their tests and their homeworks and their classworks all the time. And now when I look at it, there are still many mistakes that she does. But I am so appreciative that she is trying her level best. Her teacher is very helpful, in fact. And she's never come to me with a math problem, but she knows now how to ask for help, and that is because of the constant encouragement and of seeing the sincerity of the child, right? Number three is teach the students the benefit of failure, right? FAIL is F is for the first, A is for the attempt, in I is for the in, and L is for the learning. FAIL is basically first attempt in learning to normalize making errors and learning through mistakes. After all, we would be out of a job as teachers or as parents if students knew everything. Right? Does that make sense? Absolutely, that should make sense, inshallah ta'ala. And the last point is set students up for success by making sure they have the correct answer before calling on them in front of their peers. Now, this is for a classroom teacher. So, if you're a classroom teacher, um, I remember certain teachers were just mean. Certain adults in our family were just mean. They would purposely put a spotlight on the child to see them fail. They would have this grin on their face when the child would not know the answer. I knew this headmistress of ours, may Allah have protect all the children from that kind of a person. I can't even say may Allah have mercy on her, but may Allah give her hidayah, really, seriously. She would purposely on that day be elated when there would be 10 children wearing a dunce cap in front of the whole entire school of assembly, and she would on the mic she would embarrass those children. And I was one of those child at once only, but I was very embarrassed. And what is the purpose of that? How is that going to make your child look forward to school even, or look forward to learning even? Procedures, so another part, so now this is just different ideas. Procedures need to be taught from first day, then reinforced and retaught as necessary. Unexpected rewards squirt dopamine at synapses, which enable students to make new neural links more effectively. So give them unexpected congratulations, give them unexpected, like yeah, the shaving scars fun for life, that's so true. Expected rewards can build motivation, but students might sometimes be seeking expected rewards that are different. For example, social acceptance from the ones you might think they want, for example, getting a good grade. Now, even when procedures are in place, there are times students will resist learning. When subtle behavior cues don't redirect the students, a one on one meeting provides an opportunity to build a relationship. Now, the thing is that when a child has put in their mind that this subject is difficult for them, or they are not going to be able to do it, what happens is that they get scared. So with that mom, the activity that we did with her was, we said, okay, you need to talk to your kid, you need to talk to your kid, and you need to talk to the teacher as well, and you need to figure out how she can overcome this fear that I hate this subject. I really hate this subject. This is something that I will never ever do. This is something that I can not do, and how to make her do the homework, because you're not going to take her out of the school. There's a few months left in this classroom. What is it that you can do with the teacher to make the child most comfortable? And tell them that this is a job that we're going to do, and we're going to take small steps in doing it. I will sit with you and help you. And the mother was already helping the child do the homework. She was already sitting with the child every single day. And she was frustrated and she was tired. It used to drain her energy. And so when she asked her when so this is very funny, when she asked her child that, okay, you know what, i'm not um I'm not going to, yeah, I'm not going to make you do your homework. It's up to you. Whatever you need to do, you do, and then it's okay. I will stand by you. I will let your teacher know that you tried, and we will appreciate whatever effort that you make. When she was saying this to her other daughter, the daughter who is always very good in class and who is always fantastic in class, you know what she did? She said, "Okay, mama, if you're so open, now I also hate my homework. I don't want to do it. I've always resisted doing homework. The only reason that I was doing homework was because because I thought you would be mad at me if I don't do it." So the mom was like taken aback. The mom was like, "What? You don't want to do your homework?" She was like, "No, nobody has ever liked their homework. I just did it because I did not want you to be mad at me." And the mom came to me and she said, "Now my other daughter also, she does not want to do homework. What am I supposed to do?" I was like, "Did you understand what was happening with her? You just thought she was an easy student. However, she was not an easy student. She was just going along with what was being asked of her. She was just complacent to the process. And so sometimes we think our children are easy and they have no problem, but they're really struggling. So the last thing that I want to say before I wrap up is I did give a few ideas, I did give a few steps, inshallah ta'ala. Hope they will be helpful in helping our children learn at home as parents. The thing is, talk to the children. Do not be scared. It is their right to say no, and it is our right to make them understand that the no is not going to work in the long term. It's completely okay. Yes, sometimes the teachers are only because, for example, there are teachers who said, "Oh, you will never be able to do this." How many stories have we read of writers, of successful directors, of successful mathematicians, where their teacher told them, "You will never be able to do this," and then they were able to do, and they were able to do it successfully. They were really able to do it successfully. So be kind and be compassionate and be open and don't fear. And yes, things take time. Things do take time, and I do understand some children are, they really drive a person crazy because they are so adamant on something. But understand, why are they adamant on something? Why are they not moving forward? What is the difficulty in it? How can you make the process easier? Our one job as a parent, as a teacher, as an instructor, is to make the process of learning easier for our children. Jazakallahu khair. I hope, inshallah ta'ala, these 32 minutes without my face on were of some of some use, inshallah ta'ala. Take care. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us in our ilman nafi'an. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutaqabbala. Ameen. Jazakallahu khair, everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.